We are back at Nemacolin Woodlands Resort, and we can't talk Thanksgiving without talking turkey. That's why we have a couple of turkeys, 3 in all, right, Jeff?
Exactly.
This is Jeffrey Miller. He's the executive chef here at Falling Rock. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
So, first of all, we have to start with, this is where we all start. Every
Exactly.
Thanksgiving, we start right here.
This is the focal point of every Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
And this is no exception here at Nemacolin. There's a wonderful farm about 8 miles down the road.
Got it.
They focus on a lot of poultry, chickens and turkeys, and it's called Footprints Farms. Great product. They start everything out. They do all organic local feed. And
Got it. And all, so we can call this an all natural.
Exactly.
A lot of us go to the store. Obviously, we buy a frozen turkey. What's the difference between doing a frozen versus doing fresh turkey?
I mean, fresh turkey, like this thing was walking around the field last week.
Wow.
Going around. They
it.
take it around, and it's just great to have fresh. And whenever you freeze something, a lot of the times people will, companies will do the, maybe antibiotics or not natural feed.
Got it.
So they'll, freeze that mass production. It's just easier for them.
And let's talk pounds versus, not mine or yours, but the turkey. Everybody calm down. Pounds versus how many people? We're having 6 people. What size turkey should we buy?
6 people, I probably would focus on this one. It would be about a 14-pound bird.
Got it.
Can't really find a much smaller than that, and there'll be plenty of meat here for leftovers too.
All right, now the big question. To brine or not to brine? That is the question. Let's get it to the, we want to add some luxury to our meal.
Absolutely.
5-star, what do we do? What do you do? What do you recommend?
Well, what I like to do is I always brine it. I would always recommend a brined
All right, so
turkey.
hold on, okay. If I put a brined cooked turkey versus a non-brined cooked turkey, could you tell the difference?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, so what do we do? We're gonna start, that's where we're gonna start today?
Yes. Some people like to roast it whole. I like to break it down so I can brine it. The brine gets more into the meat thoroughly.
Really?
Would truss it and then sear it in a rondo, and then we'll bake it off in the oven. First thing, just make your safety cuts right here at the thigh.
Got it. Are we gonna do the safety dance later on? Is that gonna be part of the...
We could. And this is one of those cracking, breaking times.
Oh.
The thigh bone, just take it out.
Oh.
And then back here, on the back of the turkey, we have the oyster meat. A lot of people don't know about this, but this is definitely the best part of any turkey or chicken. Whenever I break it down, my salt to water ratio is 1 cup of salt to 1 gallon of water.
Got it. Okay.
And then about 2 hours in there broken down, but I would probably do it for closer to 5 or 6 hours if it was a whole. And then going down the center, there's a keel bone.
Oh, yes.
We're just gonna have to go on either side of that. And then all that you're doing is just cutting alongside of the cage. Mm-hmm. And then down here, you'll find the wishbone.
Yep.
And you just wanna cut alongside of that too.
So you're finding that wishbone.
Find the wishbone and it's your best friend. And then I always like to spin it around so it's on the same side.
Easier to work with. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then for this part, I'll roast it off in an oven and then boil it for the gravy, for the stock. Right here, you can kind of see a little line that separates the thigh and the leg. I kind of cut in between there. And then I'll normally throw the legs in the stock as well. You could cook them off and pull them apart for the gravy later on. From here, I'll just take the thigh bone out. There's only 1 bone in here. So just kind of take your knife, cut alongside of it. And then we'll just throw them in our brine. A cup of salt to 1 gallon of water. And we'll just let that hang out for about 2 hours.
2 hours, that's it.
I like to brine it the day before, have it trussed, and then the next day for Thanksgiving, that's whenever I'll sear it off, roast it in the oven. And now the trussing.
And what is the purpose of the trussing?
It just makes everything look a little bit more uniform, and it cooks much more evenly. Just go underneath and then just tie them. Just make a simple little knot. Whenever you go to roll it, whenever you go to put the tie underneath it, make sure you actually get both sides of meat.
Got it. What's next?
Next, we're going to sear it off on the stove, and then that'll help us get the crispy skin. I'm just using some canola oil. You can use grapeseed. Stay away from the olive oil. And then you can tell your oil's ready to go whenever you start having that little bit of shimmer. And then I always like to go skin side down, and then this will ensure the best sear on the skin. You just kind of want to have a nice sear.
10 minutes?
5 to 10 minutes, I'd say, depending on how hot your pan is, how good your range is at home. The cooking's going to take place in the oven.
Definitely, I'm starting to get hungry. I can smell it.
Good to hear. And that's it. Once we get that real nice golden brown sear on the outside, we just take them out of the oven.
That's it. We're just gonna pop them in the oven.
Just pop them in the oven.
You cover it.
I don't, because once you cover it, the steam, it'll get back into the skin that we just
Crisped up. Thank you, chef.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.